I'm going to demonstrate for you now how to use a commercial muzzle for a dog. So first things first is I need to select the size of the muzzle that's going to be appropriate for the size of dog. So I want the fit to be nice and snug. So when it's over the mouth, so this top part that's skinnier, that goes over the nose. This long part goes underneath the mandible. So you put that over and then it clips behind the ears like that, okay? So I want it to be snug in here. I want it to be fairly tight. I don't want it loose because I want to keep that dog's mouth shut. If he's able to open his mouth, he's able to bite me. So it's not safe if it's too loose. I also don't want it too tight because then it's not going to be fitted properly. So for instance, I've got this friend here. This muzzle is way too small for him, right? We can see that. It's not even going to clip on. So this is not a good option for him, but it's a great option for him. And that's why in vet clinics, we probably have like a good 20 different muzzle sizes so that you can have the correct fit for the right dog. So the first thing I'm going to do when I pick up my muzzle after I size it is I'm going to slide the little latch part so that it's nice and big. I want it to be way bigger than it would need to be to clip around. And I'll show you why. So if I leave it, so the last dog that wore this muzzle, let's say needed it at this height, we unclipped it, we put the muzzle away or we put it in a wash, whatever. It's ready to go onto the animal now. If I don't expand that, and I remember, the reason I'm muzzling is because this dog is not trying to bite me, right? So he's not super cooperative. He's not a dog that wants to hang out and have me touching him a lot. So what happens when I put this on and I go to clip it and it doesn't clip? Now I need to sit here and I need to fiddle back here trying to make this bigger while this dog's flipping out and pawing at his mouth and trying to get that muzzle off and trying to bite everyone around. So there, so now I've got it clipped and on. Boy, that ate up a lot of time where that dog just got even more upset. I potentially could have injured myself or others or even the dog. So it's important to make sure that when we're ready to use that muzzle, we expand that clip so we have a nice long string here to go around that dog. Okay, so we have a couple approaches we can take to getting a muzzle on a dog. Again, usually they're kind of bitey, so we want to be careful that we're keeping our hands away from his mouth. So I want to hold the ends with my hands kind of further away. I'm not doing this, okay? I'm not like putting it on and having my hands right there. I want to give it some space. I'm trying to get that dot, right, the circle, the open part, right over that dog's nose as soon as I can. And I want to aim right for it and get it on top, okay? Because then I can get these around the back. Sorry, it's a stuffy. He doesn't really have a lot of weight, so he keeps bouncing back on me. I'm going to clip it, and then I'm going to tighten it. While I'm tightening it, I don't know if you can see, but I've got 2 fingers underneath that clip. So I tighten it till it's 2 fingers tight, and then I can release that. And now he is protected from biting us, and we are protected from him, okay? And then when it's time to take that muzzle off, I usually grab the long, loose end in my hand. I unclip the back, and I just hold on to that part. And I can pull that muzzle right off the dog without being anywhere near his mouth, okay? Often the dog will even do us the favor of helping us and just flick it right off their face with their paws. So again, first step, find the muzzle that fits the dog. Second step, release that latch so you have a nice long string. Third step, we're gonna hold the muzzle so that our fingers are kind of farther apart. We have a good control of that muzzle. And then we're gonna come right at that dog, 1, 2, 3, get that on, and then keep that firm backwards push so that it stays on. Oh dear. Clip, and then tighten. Whoa, sorry pooch. And then tighten so that there's 2 fingers of tightness behind. We want to make sure there's no ears inside that muzzle because then it'll make it looser. There's more potential for him to rip that off his face if there's any looseness. And this kind of thing where it's rolled like that, you can try to fix that if the dog's agreeable. But if that dog is really bitey, I'm not going to bother trying to fix that because I don't want to risk having my hands too close to his mouth. Now, even with a commercial muzzle on, it is possible for a dog to still bite you with the incisors. So if they can open up their little lips and bite their little teeth like that, which they should be able to do, a good fit, they should be able to stick their tongues out of their mouth still. We don't want it so clamped shut that they can't open their mouths at all, because they might not be able to breathe then. But if they can do that, they can bite you with their incisors. And let's see if you can, I don't know if you can see on my finger here. I'm trying to get close to the thing. I'm gonna try to zoom in on it. I don't know if it's clearing for you, but I've got a scar on my hand here. That's one of the worst bites I ever got. And it was from a dachshund that had a muzzle on and bit me with his incisors. So you can certainly get bit with a muzzle on. So do be aware of that when you are handling these kind of dogs. Now, muzzles you do not want to take off until you are done handling the animal, obviously, right? And with little guys like this, I like to take them off the table and put them on the floor, have them secure with a leash before I take off that muzzle. So I'm not trying to lift them down off the table and with their mouths free and able to bite me. So the last thing I do is remove that muzzle, and then they can just walk on out. We don't want to leave muzzles on in the kennel, except in a couple of circumstances, which we'll discuss in the notes. But you don't want to leave muzzles on in the kennel. So I want to carry the dog to the kennel with the muzzle on, and then the last thing I'm doing is removing the muzzle, closing the door. Okay. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. And then removing the muzzle again, just to recap it, we're going to unclip it, keep our hands far and free from the dog, and just pull it right off. And that's how we use a commercial muzzle with dogs. Thank you.